probably going to do significant damage against
Yep.
Dan.
It's already done 1. With another spell, easily do up 3 at this point, 4, depending on what Roman does here. Just attack for 1, alright?
Yeah, that's not a route to turn 3 victory. We're probably just going to fetch the Boros Charm here.
Boros Charm, he does have Skullcrack as well, so he might be hedging against the Gristleband in the graveyard.
Yeah.
So it is kind of on Dan to make the play here, mainly because if he does think that Roman has Skullcrack, he kind of has to play around that, but he only has so much time. Yeah. So he's not exactly under a lot of pressure, though. The 1 Monastery Swiftspear is not the fastest clock.
Yeah.
But if spells start going upstairs, then things do get a little dicey. So see what Dan decides to do here.
Telling me 1 damage a turn is not the way that you win when you're playing for
2 preferably.
Can't get a good look at his hand. I think I saw his
we got a
Spear
breach.
Guide.
Yeah. Breaking it. Or maybe, no, we probably discarded the breach.
The breach got discarded.
Both of the scries go to the bottom.
So there's 1 breaking and entering.
And we have an Emrakul in hand, it looks like.
So here I think burn spells start going upstairs.
Yeah, if we have the Boros Charm, this is the turn it goes upstairs.
Yep.
So we have an open window of not having to worry about anything.
Yep.
I guess we have a Goryo's in hand. We have Goryo's Spirit Guide in hand, actually.
Okay, so I think Dan might be waiting for next turn to kind of go off with that.
Yeah.
So.
And that is what we will see.
So I wonder. Yep.
So I think he's probably got a Skullcrack in hand.
Yep. So now I think. I wonder if Dan's gonna try and. He wouldn't try and Goryo's Vengeance here. He wants a Goryo's Vengeance on his turn so he can get the swing in. It's a little greedy to try and block the Swiss Spear, I think. Because that kind of plays in a Skullcrack. But we'll see what Roman can do here.
It's going to be very dependent on what Roman does.
Right.
It's going to influence Dan's decision, I think, quite a bit here.
Okay.
Second Swift Spear.
Oh, I think Dan's going for it.
Yeah.
Dan is going for it.
So what I'm most curious about is, do we have a backup plan in case this fails?
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't see Dan's hand that well.
Right.
But if we have the Karizev's expertise, then I'm okay with going for the Goryos here. Because if he does Skullcrack, we're not dead. We can break in and entering next turn. And this also forces him to fetch to go to exactly 15 for lethal on the Emrakul if we get it.
Right. So blocks can happen.
One mana.
Nope, that's
Half?
not
That's not a Skullcrack.
Or we're gonna bolting our own Swiss Spear.
it. Okay, okay.
Very interesting.
Okay. You have to build your own Skullcrack.
Build your own
It does
That's
1
the-
extra on
that is-
the monastery man.
It's the most budget Skullcrack to date.
You have to do what you have to do.
This
All
is
right.
true.
So the Gristlebrand goes away at the end of Roman's turn here. So we'll have to see how Dan reloads.
Yeah, and Dan can't reload with the Grizzlebrand effectively, because if we go to 1, we're probably dead.
Yep, because he does need another looting effect. And he just used a Simian Spirit Guide for the Goryo's Vengeance mana.
Yeah.
So
Is that a Brutality in hand?
Collective Brutality does have the hidden secret mode of Drain You for 2. Surprisingly good in this matchup. Probably the least frequently used one.
We can also get rid of the Swift Spear and get a card.
And Duress, yeah. It's kind of the...
We can go for the full trifecta of cards.
Yeah. The 3 for 3.
I think we have a redundant breaking entering in hand as well.
Yeah, and you don't really want the Emrakul in your hand, anyways.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
That's very good. Now Roman gets set back.
Yeah, -2/-2 to the Swift Spear. Alright, so the judge is just, I guess, because it's part of the cost, the Emrakul has to shuffle away everything. Trying to keep him honest.
always better to do things as they are supposed to go.
No, but I like that play quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible that we should have been more mana efficient and helixed our own Swiss Spear.
That result is still the
life
same.
as well.
I guess you do gain the 3.
Yeah,
So
but like you can draw a 2 mana spell and then be able to cast both your spells in a single turn.
Okay.
Rather than just going on the off chance you draw 1 mana spell.
Right.
Being mana efficient with this deck is another angle you have to play very, very well.
So Dan's holding on to Serum Visions, and I can't quite see the last card. So
I think it's another Breaking and Entering.
Okay.
I think I saw 2 in his hand,
Okay.
and that's why we got rid of the first one.
All right. So we got ourselves a bit of a game here. It's very close still.
Yeah. 10 life is a good life total when we have land, nothing, or like, at best, Boros Charm is what we're looking at.
Right.
I think that's the worst card for us to see right here.
Yep. So
Most damage.
Yeah. So no matter what, it takes. Oh, that's top.
Double top. It's got to be land Karizevs. Alright, so we knew we draw land.
Yep. And we know about the Inspiring Vantage as
Yeah,
well.
so it's probably land Karizevs right here.
Well, Karizevs needs a target.
Yeah.
Karizevs.
You have to threat.
Oh,
you
true,
have to,
true.
yeah.
Yep.
But he's got the Breaking and Entering hand, so it's likely that that's what he kept on top.
Interesting that we watched so many matches where, like, very fair Abzan decks, lots of lands, lots of mana, and we have this in the finals.
Yep.
Alright, so he's on what's similar to the Chris Giuliano special, the single green source for the sideboard
Yep.
cards.
The Destructive Revelry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always wanted to play Revelry on the board, so we drew another land. So we have the Vantage in hand still, and we have an unknown card that he's not cast, so probably a land.
Yep.
Because there are no cards in this list that are reactive game 1, or maybe a Searing Blaze. Actually, this is the only card I can
There's
think
Skull
of.
Cracks. Searing Blaze is the...
Searing Blaze is the only card you can't cast.
Yep.
Alright, did we draw the Expertise?
So no matter what the draw is, it takes 3 cards to kill, so Dan has plenty of time to kind of set up here.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, I think he's got an Expertise. He's got Expertise, Emrakul, and a Breaking and Entering, and one other card I can't see. So his hand's very good. Roman's got to start drawing some form of gas soon. Creature would be best case scenario.
Well, worst case scenario, because that turns out Karizev's Expertise.
Yeah, I'm in for Dan. I'm a little pushing for my buddy Dan, but
Well, we
I think-
chose the burn player, so
Yeah, so
you're
I chose
talking
Dan,
about we
so-
as in you and Dan.
I mean me, myself, and I right now. But no, I think that just reassures. So we got the last land that Dan knows about in hand. So at the very least, we have 2 cards in hand.
Two unknowns
that could
now.
be something.
Yeah.
One's probably a Searing Blaze.
Yep.
That's the only thing I can think of that could be a non-land card that we can't cast. Getting rid of Emrakul and Through the Breach.
Jeez. Alright.
Yeah, we don't have the lands to cast it Through the Breach. We have Karizevs and Breaking and Entering in hand. Just need a Forbidden Orchard. And we're good. And Dan's
Wow. This is so rare
The-
for Roman's deck to do this, though. Like, how many lands does he play?
Right.
good. I've been here before with the burn decks. It's really tough and disheartening, especially when you keep drawing extra fetches, fetching to get a land out of your deck, and then continuing to draw another one.
Yeah.
But this is a variance that you come to a tournament knowing is possible.
Right.
Well, not only the variants, but you're also signing up with the non-blue deck, so you have admittedly said, I'm not going to try to counteract this in any way.
Yeah.
Give you a good look there. There's a Boros Charm. There's a Rift Bolt.
Wow.
Wow. All right.
That's insane. So
Wow. There's no words to say. Like,
Speechless. We're literally speechless.
yeah, that's exactly what burn does. I think it's just a lot of times.
that was a really disheartening thing to see because I just assumed he didn't have an actual spell to cast in his hand.
Right.
So like, the fact that he just ended the game like that was unexpected for me.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm
kind of a slow roll there. Like
absolute slow roll. Because I would have probably cast the Boros Charm, but I don't know.
That was just such an odd game because it's very, very rare that you see a burn deck
be able to cast 3 spells.
Yes.
And
be able to like flood and win. Like usually if you flood with a burn deck, it's over.
Right. So real quick, peek at the sideboards. What do you guys like here? Rachel, you have the burn deck in hand. We can start with that.
I do. So, he has 3 paths. Deflecting Palms.
Deflecting Palm is a spice.
Hey, we're gonna live the dream.
Yep, 15 you.
Is that good? 15 me, no 15 you. Yeah, so definitely the Deflecting Palm.
Well, yep. I think even with the Gristle brand, kind of just it's basically kind of a skull crack effect as well. They gain 7, they lose 7 right away.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
it makes it so they can't draw cards as very easily either.
Yep.
They don't gain the life and they take 7 extra damage.
Yep.
So they draw 7 less cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep. So probably it. Sudden Shock doesn't really do much. It's just a passive Deflecting Palms, realistically. I think that we're looking at.
Yeah.
Sudden Shock stop Karizev's expertise from casting the Breaking and Entering.
If you kill your own thing, but it's not really any different than.
Well, you just Sudden Shock their dome, right? Because Sudden Shock has the split second.
No, Karizev's expertise is one continuous spell. It's the same as fusing.
Okay.
So they'll threaten something and then they get to cast a spell.
Okay.
So that there's no break in between
Gotcha.
that happening. Yep.
Curious, but thank you.
Yeah. So what do you like out of Dan's list?
Collective Brutality. Easily snap best. We saw it.
Yep.
The card just went ham sandwich on the burn player.
Yep.
Absolutely loved every piece of that. The Dispels are probably fine. Spell Piercers are probably good. Maybe the Yanni's expertise as just a hedge against the deck to be able to cast your Breaking and Entering without them drawing a creature. And it's another way to be able to sweep up the board if the burn player does play too many creatures that you can't deal with.
A little bit too slow, I think.
Possibly we're on the play this time, so we have a little bit extra room, and we're bringing in an extra brutality and maybe a fatal push to be able to draw the game out a little longer. We're hopefully bringing the Spell Pierces and the Dispels.
Yep.
So we want to try to push the game a little bit longer, give us a few extra turns to be able to combo, and I think the expertise is fine on the play.
Yeah. So there is 2 Thoughtseize. I think with the cards that he has, he's not going to bring them in, but that's always an interesting consideration. Do you bring the Thoughtseize to kind of like net save one life? Because I don't think he does here because he
I
has
like cutting
spells
them
in
as the Jund player. It's
Yeah.
just you're already taking too much damage, and especially in a deck like Dan's that doesn't interact as well. He really can't risk losing the life.
Yeah, I think
for not
Thoughtseize
that
are
much
more
value.
good against something that's going to interrupt his combo, which Bird does not have access to.
All right. Off to races.
And we've got the collective brutalities to be able to interact with our opponent's hand.
Post board. I think we're all sticking to our guns. You said you like Dan post board. I like.
Yeah, I like Dan. We're on the play this time, so I think we're doing a little bit better than we were before. So we got a Grizzlebrand in the graveyard already. Dan just needs the Goryo's Vengeance. And we discarded a Simian Spirit Guide as well. We got Karizev's. I think he's got a Breaking and Entering in hand.
So this is the turn 1 that he wants, usually the looting effect, trying to set up for turn 2 with the Goryos.
So if we've got the Goryos in hand, then Dan's able to get the Grizzlebrand on early, and then Roman has to play a really defensive game with like a Skull Crack or like a Deflecting Palm here.
And if he has the Goryos next turn, it almost doesn't matter because I think that 7 extra life is enough to kind of put him over the edge, buy Dan enough time.
Yeah.
Turn 1 Gun's not bad.
Yep.
Nope.
Turn 1, that's the best start you can hope for.
My favorite start as well because the initials are GG.
We got a reader.
We do have a reader.
So for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, why don't you go over the combo for them? Since we haven't really seen this in action,
Sure.
so let's see what
So
the best case
Karizev's
scenarios.
expertise is the 3-mana threaten effect from Aether Revolt, right?
Yep,
and what
here
it
it is.
does, as we see right here, is it allows us to cast Breaking and the Breaking and Entering, but it also allows us to fuse the card as we're casting it from our hand. So we're allowed to cast both sides of Breaking and Entering through the Karizev's expertise, and Dan is able to mill 8 cards from his library into the graveyard and then put a card from the graveyard into the battlefield simultaneously, so he is able to hit the Emrakul's that hit the graveyard as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the other beautiful part about Breaking and Entering that this deck didn't normally do is the entering portion of the card doesn't make him sacrifice the card at the end step. He gets to keep the Workers of Brand for the entire game.
Yep, it's not a Goryo's Vengeance or through the breach type effect.
Yeah.
Yep.
It costs 1 extra mana to allow us to keep the creature.
Yep.
Other awesome part to the Breaking and Entering is you can hit a card in your opponent's graveyard. So even if you completely whiff on your 8 cards that have nothing in graveyard, you can target something in your opponent's graveyard.
Right.
Pretty good.
Yep.
I would say that was pretty good.
Pretty good for a turn 2. Quite literally,
Yeah.
turn 1, Faithfully turn 2, get the expertise.
Yeah.
And put Gristlebrand in play.
Yeah, the double Simian Spirit Guides that we've seen so far, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty effective. And I think this kind of ties back to our discussion earlier about how Simian Spirit Guide. I think this is the type of thing that
It's on the edge.
It's
on the
edge.
watch list,
Yep.
I would say.
Yep. No one is ever doing anything fair with it.
No.
I think people are inherently, how can we break? What can we cheat into play ahead of schedule with Simian Spirit Guide that makes it a little bit dubious.
It doesn't lead to fun, interactive magic, that's
Right.
for sure.
Yep. Eldrazi, early chalices, and apparently
the
carries
red-
out expertise.
Yeah,
Like
the red-white Sun and Moon deck right now.
Yeah, the Simian Spirit Guide into turn 1 Stony. We've seen like turn 2 Blood Moons with it.
There we go. Deflecting Palm action. Getting dispelled.
Okay, so
so
all
this
the
spell
dream.
or that spell.
It wasn't the dream since it wasn't Emrakul, but man, we were close
We
to
were
living
close.
a small dream.
yep.
A for effort. Through the breach on the top.
Never concede.
No.
Never concede.
Never give up. Never surrender.
So I wonder if it's possible if he could feasibly have another
Deflecting Palm.
deflecting palm here.
I think that's the only situation I would go this far as suspending a Rift Bolt.
Right. So what are we looking at here? So we have a deflecting palm, so that kind of skull cracks for a turn, but that is only hitting for 5 total, puts him to 13. He could have, in theory, another burn spell, another deflecting palm. That would be crazy.
All right, everybody.
I have 3 in the
All right.
board, so that would be the...
Send your energy if you want to see the deflecting palm.
All right, we got readers.
Roman has to read Dan's. Dan needs to read deflecting palm.
Well, the wording on Deflecting Palm makes it kind of tricky in
Yeah.
that you can hit the Emrakul's with it
Yes.
Yes.
because it doesn't target.
It's
Right.
a source.
Yeah.
As clarification was
Yes.
made to me earlier.
So you can also hit hexproof creatures in Dan's favorite deck, the Boggles deck.
Yeah. So basically, deflecting palm is good against Dan.
Yeah, anti-Dan card.
Anti-Dan hate.
Anyone on chat, if you ever want to get under Dan's skin and you see him at Grand Prix,
Main board for Deflecting Palms.
ask him to sign a Fracturing Gust. if that's how you want to get under his skin, ask him to sign a Fracturing Gust, and I'm sure he'll give you a long,
I
sad
don't
story.
know. Dan is pretty tall. I don't know if I want to upset Dan.
All right, okay, that's game.
All right.
We're ready to move on to game 3.
We bluffed hard.
All right, we tried.
Dan didn't bite, just went for it.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone wouldn't go for it in that situation. You're not really staring down lethal
What
in
do
any
you-
way.
The thing is what are you doing if you don't go for it, right?
Yeah,
You
which
just
is not much.
give him a
Like,
chance.
we didn't have a spell to cast off of our Kari Zev, so we just went from hand. We didn't have a 2 or less spell. So Dan, that's it. I'm just going to threaten your creature. If you're deflecting upon me, that's fine. I'm still getting through 2 damage. You're going to 1. You can't fetch. You can't play a shock land to be able to try to play 2 spells in a turn.
Mm-hmm.
So try to shorten anything that you can do.
Yep.
Well, we have a nail biter. We are going to game 3.
Yep. The last game
The
of the
last
day
possible. Yes.
for all the marbles.
We will have a champion after this.
Yep.
So I think if I'm the burn player and I was on the draw last game, I probably want to bring in some of the Path Exiles just to hedge against any of the Grizzle brands. Try to, play a bit more defensively because we're on the draw. We get an extra card. We can afford to play a little bit more defensively.
Right.
On the play, probably hedging out some of my Path Exiles. If I brought them in, try to go a little faster. Be back on the I'm going to kill you on turn 4 game plan.
I agree.
And if you can stop me faster than that, by all means, I can't stop you. But if you don't have it, I'm probably going to.
Yeah. Why shoot for turn 4? You can shoot for the stars. Turn 3, turn.
So turn 3 is rough because if you go all in on the turn 3 plan, you're tapping out on turn 2, which is your possible Skullcrack turn, or your possible Deflecting Palm turn if Dan does have the early turn 2 combo, but you're also shutting down any other possible turns that Dan could have. Also, we could see a Collective Brutality very early from Dan, which is infinitely better against him going for the turn 3 kill than Dan not having any combo pieces. It's going to slow him down quite a bit. The 2 life, very relevant. Killing creature, very relevant. Getting card in hand, very relevant. So I think Brutality is going to be extremely important if we don't have our turn 2 combo.
So I think the biggest thing here, that being on play versus being on draw, the fact that he can safely play a turn 1 creature without worrying about the Karazev's expertise combo is going to be a big deal. So
I mean, we could see it. Dan could have the Miser's triple Simian Spirit Guide and just casting whatever he wants.
That's true. In theory, he could have triple Simian Spirit Guide, the first one for the looting effect, second one for the Karazev's expertise.
It could just be insane. We'll see.
Yeah.
He doesn't even need the looting effect, does he? No, because you go land, guide, carry Zevs, hit your guy, cast the breaking and entering from hand, hit the Emrakul, attack you, you lose your creature. Or no, you didn't even lose the creature, you should lose the land, right? Because Dan controls the creature.
Yep.
And that's a swing for 17 damage, so if he fetch shocks to play his first creature, he's dead.
Crazy how Modern plays out sometimes.
I mean, this isn't Legacy. Like, that sounds like dying on turn 1 sounds like a thing we should be doing in Legacy. Dan has a Forbidden Orchard in hand, which is going to be really, really important for Kari Zevs if Roman doesn't have a creature draw in his burn deck. I see Deflecting Palm on Roman's side.
Yep.
Very good.
Yep.
On the play is going to be much better than it's going to be on the draw.
I think there's probably an explosive game here.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think both players are poised for a decent game plan here.
Right.
Roman's probably got a bolt. Hopefully has a bolt. Please have a bolt.
Something.
I don't want to keep a hand that doesn't have a turn 1.
Turn 1 something.
Yeah, turn 1 anything.
Really, you
But I also don't like mulliganing when I'm playing burn because you need a critical mass of cards. And if your hand is reasonable, then it should be keepable.
Yeah, but if it's reasonable, it probably has a turn 1 play.
We have the Deflecting Palm. So one of the things I can say about keeping a hand that we don't have a turn 1 play in.
Just have 3 Deflecting Palms.
3 is excessive. I don't know if we'll ever actually get to cast all of them, but
Dispel this one. Dispel.
1 is good. 1 is what we want.
Right.
That's our quote-unquote interactive spell in Smash, but the only one we have.
All right. Let's see if we're going upstairs here.
Getting Basic Mountain means we're going upstairs.
Yep, I agree. Upstairs. There it is. 14. Just like that. Just like that.
How could we doubt him? Of course, he had a turn 1 play.
So, Deflecting Palm on Emrakul, now lethal. Now lethal.
How do you
Dan's
like
gotta
it,
be-
Goryo's player?
Dan's going to be a little weary now.
Yeah. It's a little dangerous just to go for it, so...
We have a Goryo's Vengeance, which is actually great. We have a Grizzle Brandon Graveyard, which is,
Right.
if we're going to get palmed, I'd much rather it be that means, but
Right.
Roman could untap and kill him with a Bolt and a Boros Charm.
Yep. There are 2 card combinations that kill from here. Or that kill from 7, rather.
Yeah. It has to be Bolt, Spike, and exactly Boros Charm.
Yep. So I think Dan is wondering if he's going to play around the Skullcrack effect here. He does have the Goryo's in hand. Not as easy to just say Goryo's my Gristlebrand.
Yeah, especially because we have a fetch line on the floor as well.
Yep.
So it actually opens up the line for double Bolt being lethal.
Yep.
Which, like, you can't reasonably sit at 14 life and be like, I'm going to die to 2 lightning bolts.
Mm-hmm.
In what world is that possible?
Right. So let's see if Dan decides to pull the trigger. Nope, does not pull the trigger. He's at 10.
I think Dan has an anger in his hand too, actually.
It is ticking down.
Yeah, we're
So
in a
it's-
little bit of trouble.
So now we are widening the range of things we can die to.
Yeah.
9 puts you now. It's
double
just
bolt range again. 'Cause
Yeah.
We've got the rift bolt on the floor.
yep. So basically any 2 cards will kill at this point.
Yeah.
So not sure how many cards Roman has left in his hand. I think it might be not far off from knock the deck moment. You can't pay for life. Can't pay life to draw cards. I think he just has to hit and hope it connects. I feel like Roman is holding a skull crack.
We know he's got the deflection.
Or he has a deflecting palm no matter what. So,
Yeah. This is tough. So Dan has the option of drawing 7 cards, hitting a dispel,
Yeah.
and then dispelling the deflecting palm to be able to gain his life.
Yep.
I honestly think that's his out.
That's his out.
I don't
agree.
think we can let this resolve.
I agree.
Take 7 because we can't, because we got the rift bolt
Gosh.
on the floor, so he's actually dead on board. So he has to draw the 7 cards.
Yes.
Yeah. He only has 2 dispels.
So
He could draw spell pierce too. So we've got 2 spell pierces.
Yeah.
2 spell
so
pierce, 2
4.
spells. Yep.
So we have 4 outs here.
The slow roll. Is that 2?
Soul roller. Just a lot of cards. Is it in there?
I did not. Yep.
It's not.
It's not
It's
there.
not.
That's it. Burn.
Burn.
At the end of the day, all things you can do modern, good old fashioned burn.
Yes.
Most consistent combo deck in Modern.
Ha!
I own
We
the deck
won.
for a reason.
Yep.
Ed and I were right.
Yep.
Yeah.
That really came down to
Deflecting ball.
Just-
every single card. I think
Yeah.
every single card mattered there. Roman had he would have had the kill next turn. I think I saw Lightning Helix. I'm not sure if he did have another 3 in his hand. But
yeah, I think he had a few cards in hand. It's
yeah.
very possible that he could have been able to reasonably kill Dan with just been, and he had a draw step as well.
Yep. So overall, this was a great day of Magic.
It was.
Like,
Yes.
I like the
This-
finish. The finish was exciting.
Yep.
You know, just all over the place.
Yep.
Dan did sweet things. The burn deck, showed him.
Use every resource. Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that was a great play from Roman. I think he really showed like you really have to eke out every bit of damage. I think it's one of those things that just bears repetition.
Yes.
Right. You
Yeah.
Yeah.
like despite what people say, you just point cards at them and kill them. You really have to maximize every bit, every card, every sequencing is important. How you fetch is important.
Absolutely.
Yep. So
Yeah, I think the no play on turn 2, game 1 was a big tell to Roman, knowing what's going to happen in a matchup like this and just being patient.
Yep. Being patient.
I think that was a big key in this matchup. A lot of people are just like, I have 2 mana, I have a prowess creature, I have a spell I can cast, I'm going to cast this, maximize my damage, and then Dan can just untap Gorios and kill you, basically.
And you missed it, but during the semifinals, Roman managed to win the game on the mold of 5.
Yes.
Yep. So.
Yes.
Yep.
So he has
So,
fought his
yeah,
way here.
yeah.
He is absolutely, completely a well-deserved win.
And oddly enough, no matter how we say it, Burn does not get free wins. For being a linear combo deck, you have to earn it. Sometimes you do get the nuts. Sometimes we did see the, I think earlier some Burn player had turn 1 Goblin Guide, turn 2 Double Swift Spear, turn 3 Burn type thing. Like you do get those
On
draws.
camera, it was a second Goblin Guide.
Okay.
And then Delano Maelstrom pulsed the Swift Spears, and
Yeah.
then he was like, untap a Tarkus command, and you're just dead anyway.
Yep.
So,
So-
yeah,
Sure,
it was.
but that's almost every deck, like in Modern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No, I'm
that
gonna
was
say
like
almost.
That was
Not
a
Jun.
over.
Jun
That was a
doesn't
turn
have that,
3 kill though.
that was well over the expected average.
Right.
But
Yeah.
It could have.
Yes.
It could have been a 3 kill if he drew the Tarkus command earlier, but still a fairly easy turn 4 kill. But that's Burn.
all right, so that's it for coverage for us tonight.
We're gonna do
Yeah,
We're gonna
we are
interview
going
the
to
winner.
do-
Ed, we have to interview the winner.
For
He
us,
just
as
became
in
the
for
regional
all
champion.
3 of us.
Yep.
But
So-
we are. We have the winner over here. We're gonna do a quick interview with him, and then we're gonna finish up this night.
So we're gonna head to commercial just for a second. Stay tuned though, because you get to hear in his own words how he won the entire tournament.
Looking for fun, informative Magic the Gathering analysis? Look no further than Kirwan'sGameStore.com. Team KGS has the best writers and content providers this side of Kaladesh. Whether you're looking for standard, modern, vintage, tournament reports, or deck techs, Team KGS will give you the insight and analysis to help with your Magic game. Check out Kirwan'sGameStore.com weekly for new videos and articles and see why KGS is the best place in gaming. Kirwan'sGameStore.com is the online source for your gaming needs. We stock sealed products and card singles for Magic, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, and Weiss Schwartz. We also carry singles for HeroClix and Star Wars Destiny. With our free economy shipping on all orders and responsive customer service, you get more of the games you want hassle-free. Shop Kirwan'sGameStore.com today and see why we are the best place in gaming.
Welcome back to Kirwan's Game Store, and congratulations!
Thank you so much.
So how many rounds it was 12 rounds, right? Or 13?
Yeah, 12 rounds total.
Yeah, that's amazing. So what was your final record?
I went 7-0, 2 in the Swiss, so I double drew the top 8, and then 3-0 the top 8.
Wow, very nice. So you had a phenomenal tournament from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Wow. So what made you decide to play Burn? Is that what you normally play?
Yeah, so a couple months ago for the RPTQ, Mike Flores and I worked on Burn as the deck to play. And we switched to Red-White Burn as opposed to traditional Naya builds with Wild Nacatl, kind of Tarkus Command, and playing 4 Skullcrack, 4 Lightning Helix thing.
Wow, yeah, we were talking about the choice to play Naya Burn versus that red-white.
Yeah.
So I think it actually came in really helpful. Did you play any other Burn mirror matches?
No, I didn't. I think I'm favored in the mirror, but I didn't get a chance to play anything.
That's sort of what we thought. We thought that just the red-white would be favored in the mirror.
Yeah.
Did you play any deck more than once?
No, I didn't. I played a bunch of different decks today.
Yeah, super diverse out there. Why don't you show everyone your trophy?
Yeah.
He is your new regional champ for the New York area. So you were saying you built your deck with Michael Flores. He's a known Burn player as well.
Yeah, local New Yorker. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Going forward, would you change anything about the deck, or were you really happy with
The sideboard was a little wonky today. Originally, I was going to play 4 Kataki War's Wage, playing straight red-white, and at the last minute, I couldn't find them, so I played 1 Stomping Grounds and 4 Destructive Weaponry, which was just fine, and then I cut down to 3 Inspiring Advantage.
Wow, we talked about that a lot. We were like, wow, he's playing the Stomping Ground just for the Destructive Weaponry.
Yeah, the sideboard was a little weird. Some changes probably going forward, maybe like an extra Sudden Shock and cutting down 1 Path to Exile, but yeah.
Yeah, what was the best card for you?
The best card? They're all the best cards. Well, Deflecting Palm, obviously.
I was going to say Deflecting Palm!
Yeah.
You have to give Deflecting Palm a shout out. That was phenomenal. Everyone in the chat was so excited. We all wanted to see like Deflecting Palm.
I was really scared of that last turn. I thought Dan would for sure draw the Dispel, but yeah, sometimes you get lucky.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You played it phenomenally to get to that point.
Yeah, definitely maybe not the semis, but the finals for sure.
Hey, all that matters is you are the champion. So congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.